إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد عباد الله اعلموا أن أصدق الحديث كلام الله وخير الهدي هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار عصمني الله وإياكم من النار. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him, we seek His help, and we ask for His forgiveness. Whomever Allah guides, no one can lead astray. And whomever He leads astray, no one can guide. We bear witness that no one has the right to be worshipped but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone and has no partner. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His servant and messenger. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His prayers upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his companions, and all those who follow him till the day of judgment. Amma ba'd, ikhwat al-iman, أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. I advise myself, brothers and sisters in Islam, as well as you to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I advise you all and myself to maintain piety. عباد الله إذا وفق الله سبحانه وتعالى العبد بالتقوى فقد أعطاه خيري الدنيا والآخرة. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants the servants a taqwa in their heart, they have been granted all the goodness in this life and the hereafter. فلذلك نسأله سبحانه وتعالى بأسمائه الحسنى وصفاته العلى أن يجعلنا من أهل التقى. We ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala with His beautiful names and attributes to make us among the pious ones. فبعد ذلك عباد الله محور هذه الخطبة اليوم على ثلاث. أولا فضل هذه الأيام العظيمة وفي داخلها كذلك المحور الثاني يوم عرفة، فضل يوم عرفة، وكذلك عظمة وفضل وجلالة يوم العاشر وعيد الأضحى. We'll talk about three things inshallah in this khutbah. First is the virtues of these 10 days. And specifically within these 10 days, the day of Arafah. The day of Arafah. And finally, the greatest day, which is the 10th of Dhu Al-Hijjah, which is the Eid Al-Adha, and which is Yawm Al-Hajj Al-Akbar for the people performing the Hajj. أولاً هذه نعمة لإدراك هذه الأيام العظيمة. First, we have to know and acknowledge that it's a blessing. It's a blessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted us to live these 10 days. لماذا؟ هي أيام 10 لكنها أعظم أيام الدنيا. It's only 10 days, but they are greater and better than any other day. Only 10 days, but they are better than any other days. The Prophet ﷺ said that. He said ﷺ, any deed, even in the month of Ramadan, the days of the month of Ramadan cannot compete the first 10 days of the Hijjah. But people don't get it. You know why? Because the way we prepare for the month of Ramadan, the days of the month of Ramadan are different than the way we prepare for the 10 days of, or the first 10 days of Dhu Al-Hijjah. And they're better. They are great. There are some things that we miss, and I will mention at the end, that we do very good in Ramadan, but sometimes we don't do it in these 10 days. I don't know the reason. Maybe because we are not trained to understand the greatness of these 10 days, or they just pass by, we don't pay attention to it, or we are so distracted. And they are easier to maintain or to take advantage of because it's 10 versus 30 or 29. So pushing yourself in 10 days is easier than the whole entire 30 or 29 days. So I'll emphasize on that, inshallah. But these days, to give you the example, the Prophet ﷺ, he said in authentic hadith, there is no action that will give you more reward than an action that was performed in these first 10 days of Dhu Al-Hijjah. There is no action in any day. To understand that, you give a favor, or do a favor, or you give a sadaqah to a person for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or even cook for your wife, it's a sadaqah, or take a meal and feed your wife, it's sadaqah. Those small things that you do, they are a sadaqah in our deen. But the sadaqah that you made, the same in other months, other days, the reward will be so little compared to the one that you did in the first 10 days of the Hijjah. So little. And the Sahaba, when they heard the Prophet saying that, they said, Ya Rasulullah, but maybe you're missing jihad fi sabilillah. How about jihad in other days other than these first 10 days? He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, wala al-jihadu fi sabilillah. Even jihad in a path of Allah. What is jihad? Is to carry a sword and fight on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Li'ilai kalimatillah. Jihad is to participate in anything that will raise their la ilaha illallah, will spread the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet said, even a jihad fi sabilillah. And they asked again, he said, wala al-jihadu fi sabilillah, 3 times. He said, except illa rajulun kharaja bimalihi wa nafsihi wa lam ya'ud bidhalika shay. Except a person who go for jihad, took his entire wealth, his soul, and came back with nothing. Like he lost his life for the sake of Allah, and his wealth, he spent all of it in the sake of Allah. That is the only person, or that is the only reward or action that will compete the action that was made in the first 10 days of the Hijjah. I think we're missing it. It should be a competition till we feel that yes, there's a competition within these 10 days. But no, reality is no. They just pass by like any other days. They just pass by like any other days. If we don't know, these are the virtues and the greatness of these first 10 days of the Hijjah, then we should update the way we treat these 10 days. And we should raise some of the good things that we do, because the little that you do in this month or in these 10 days will be more rewarding than the thing that you do more in other days. Of course, fasting in it, giving charity, all those things can be done. But you should, or we must know that these are 10 days and we're living in it. The second thing is Arafah. Is within the 10 days. Within these 10 days we talked about. Yawm Arafah is a great day. The Prophet ﷺ, he did something in Arafah that he didn't do anywhere else except in Arafah. Once in his life. Only once in his life. only one time in his life in this deed. That's the reason why the Yahudi, he came to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, the Yahudi, the Jewish, he came to the Prophet, he said, he came to Umar. When the Umar was Khalifa, he came to Umar, he said, Ya Umar, or they used to call him Amirul Mu'mineen, or Khalifati Rasulillah. Ayatun fi kitabikum, لو نحن معاشر اليهود نزلت لاتخذنا ذلك اليوم عيدا. He said there's a verse, it's ayah in your book. If that ayah was revealed to us as Yahud, we will celebrate that day. Imagine, they know what is in our book. They know, and they still know what is in our book. Undeniable. Umar asked him, what is that ayah? He said, Al-Yawma, he recited the ayah. Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-Islam deena. Today, what is that day? It's the day of Arafah. Al-Yawm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this day, on this day, akmaltu lakum deenakum. I have completed your religion for you. وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. My blessings that you need to enjoy your life and the hereafter, I have given it to you all. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. And I chose Islam to be the only religion that I'm pleased with. Today, he said, Umar radiallahu anhu. So let's look at the Umar's behavior towards what this person said. If it was like today, somebody will say, yeah, we can celebrate that. We should. Yeah, we should. You see, Umar said, yeah, I know. You know, the deen is very beautiful. When you know that the Prophet know more than you. And he will do it if it was good. Everyone say, okay, let's celebrate this day. It was great in Islam. Okay, who tell you to celebrate it? Umar said, yes, I know where this ayah was revealed. It was revealed on the day of Arafah, while the Prophet ﷺ was on his camel in the mountain of Arafah. So Umar didn't say, oh yeah, that can be a good idea. I can bring the Muslims and say, even the non-Muslims, they acknowledge the greatness of this day. But he didn't even pay attention. It's great, but to celebrate it, you need some pass. You need somebody tell you, okay, celebrate it. Who can say that the Prophet, he didn't do it, you shouldn't do it. That's how the Sahaba were. The Prophet tell them, move, they move, stop, they stop. Don't do, they stop doing it. Do, they do it. That's it. There are smart people, way smarter than us, have better understanding than us. But كانوا مقيدين بالآيات والأحاديث. They were tied with what Allah says and what the Prophet ﷺ said. So this is Arafah. The Prophet ﷺ, imagine, we talked about this. He was in Arafah after Dhuhr, raising his hands. That scene was never seen. Similar scenes was seen by the Prophet ﷺ, but the time frame was never seen. In Badr, he did ﷺ, made a long dua. Till his imamah fell. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu came and said, Ya Rasulullah, it's enough now. Allah will give what he promised you. It's enough now. Allah is seeing you. He's seeing how humble you are and how much you begged him. But in Arafah, he raised his hands after Dhuhr till Maghrib time on his camel ﷺ, and he didn't bring his hands down. We talked about this. That's the scene that you will never find in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, except on this day. And on top of that, he said, this day is a great day. It is a day, if you fasted as a non-Hajj, if you fasted, the Prophet ﷺ said, I hope, or the reward of it is forgiveness of the previous year and the upcoming year. One day you fasted, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive the sins that were performed in the previous year. Of course, I think that's a good deal. it is a very, very, very good deal, because some of the things that you did intentionally, terribly, knowingly, and you think about it sometimes, you fast on that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive those sins. And what you will do, what you did not plan to do in the year, and you will in the coming year, you don't know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive those sins. Subhanallah, just one day. So don't miss that day. It's not a wajib. It's not a wajib. It's a bonus. And I know in workplace, I have never seen somebody, or if you know somebody say, oh, I don't like bonuses, I'm going to take it. Have you seen that? No. Because it's directly benefiting you. So this, you may not see it, but it's directly benefiting you. It's directly benefiting you. So then, this is the greatness, briefly, about the day of Arafah. Not just fasting it, but also doing a lot of good things in it. It will give a lot of reward. Finally, the greatest day ever, which is Yawm al-Hajj al-Akbar. And inshallah, we will talk about that in the second khutbah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد، لو لاحظتم في الصيف يكثر الناس حتى يصلون في الخارج، ما أدري أين هم في الشتاء. In the summer we have many people and they have to pray outside, and maybe the winter is so cold that they cannot go out. So that means that we need a new masjid, inshallah. And it's progressing, inshallah. It's progressing, it's promising. We ask Allah to make it easy to complete it, inshallah. Amma Yawm al-Eid, the day of the Eid. There are adab. هناك آداب لهذا اليوم. هناك آداب لهذا اليوم. There's etiquette of how a Muslim should treat this great day. And we're talking about the non-Hijjaj, people who are not performing the Hajj. Number one, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala اختار هذا اليوم. اختاره للمسلمين ليعظموه وليشكروه فيه. Allah chose this day, and He put this day on top of the days for us to magnify that day, for us to glorify that day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ جَعَلْنَا مَنْسَكًا لِيَذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ عَلَى مَا رَزَقَهُم مِّن بَهِيمَةِ الْأَنْعَامِ فَإِلَٰهُكُمْ إِلَٰهٌ وَاحِدٌ فَلَهُ أَسْلِمُوا وَبَشِّرِ الْمُخْبِتِينَ. He chose this day. He said, each nation before, we have chosen a day for them to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what He provided for them in animals. Bahimatul An'am. He gave them camels, cows, sheep, goats and lambs, so they can enjoy, they can eat it. Even though there are some people who are vegetarians, they don't eat it, but Abdul Rahman, it's okay. It's okay. We eat for him, inshallah, and we eat for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose that day to be the greatest day for us to celebrate. He said, each nation before you, we have granted and we have chosen a day for them. Imagine, it's not my choice or your choice, or it's Allah's choice. He said, I have chosen this day for you. So we can thank Allah and be grateful. You know, imagine if Allah said, lamb is haram, goat is haram, chicken is haram, and we cannot slaughter chicken in the Eid. Cow is haram, and camels are haram. It's going to be very difficult to get meat. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He granted us that, and He tells us, enjoy the most on this day. And take this day as a feast, take this day as a celebration. Celebrate this day. لِيَذْكُرُ اللَّهِ. So you can remember Allah, you can be grateful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one, فَإِلَاهُكُمْ إِلَاهٌ وَاحِدٌ. The one, the only one God is the one who chose this day for you. Then of course, it's great, no doubt about it. It should have teachings. It must have etiquettes. It must have something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do on it. First, the Prophet alayhi salatu told us what to do. Ali radiallahu anhu, kama rawa Bayhaqi, fi sanad sahih, Bayhaqi narrated, he said, a shower, when we talk about taking a shower, it's one of the religious Islam that talked about how to take a shower. It's only religion you'll find will teach you how to take a shower. A spiritual shower. The rest, you can do it. But you must take a shower. You cannot, you have to take a shower as a Muslim. He was asked, he said, Kamil ghusl fil Islam. What? And you listen to the response. He said, how much do we take a shower in Islam? If you understand, if you hear that, you might say, oh, he's asking how many times a person should take a shower. No, he's not asking that. He said, what are the prescribed showers in Islam? That will give you reward. That's what he talked about here. The shower that is aada, the people who take shower like 5 times a day, 2 times, twice, 3, 4, and the people who will skip a day. He said, al-ghuslu, because of as-sa'ilu yafham kayfa yas'al, wal-mas'ulu yafham su'al as-sa'il. The one who's asking know how they ask with a little, very short statement. And the one who's been asked understood what this person is asking. Oh, so easy. That's what we're missing right now. You ask a question, you keep asking it, and the sheikh keep repeating, so you don't understand, the sheikh didn't understand, and you confuse the rest. He said, arba'a, al-ghuslu arba'a. He didn't say al-ghuslu fil Islam arba'a because he knew that this person can only ask about Islam. Arba'a. He said, Yawm al-Eid al-Fitr. It's a sunnah to take a shower. It's a sunnah to take a shower. If you take 2, 3, Islam wants to take 1 as a sunnah. And the day of the Eid Al-Adha is a sunnah. And Yawm al-Jumu'ah is a sunnah. Then Yawm Arafah. Then Yawm Arafah. That's it. The rest, you can take it. And somebody will say, oh, how about if a person is in Janaba? That's a different thing. That is a different thing. That is ghusl bis-sabab. A shower that has a reason for you to take. And it's a must for you to take. You are restricted. So then, first, it's a ghusl. To take a shower before you go to the Eid. And Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he said, for the Eid, somebody can take it after Fajr, or even before Fajr. He said, because of the time is limited. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. And the second thing is at-tatayyub. To have a nice cologne. To have a nice one. Don't buy cheap one. They're very cheap ones. Buy a nice one. And also, at-tazayyun. To have beautiful like clothes. To dress up nice. You know, Umar radiallahu anhu, one day, he saw Irban selling clothes next to the masjid. And they were selling clothes here. Somebody came to me and said, Sheikh, this is a masjid. They shouldn't be selling here. I kept quiet. I said, I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you later because if I want to explain, they may. But this hadith will maybe respond to that. He was selling next to the masjid. Umar came to the Prophet alayhi salatu. But among what he was selling was like male dresses, male clothes. That is a silk. That is a harir, silk. He went to the Prophet alayhi salatu Umar. He said, Ya Rasulullah, هل شريت وتلبس في العيدين وعندما تقابل الوفود وفي الجمعة. He went to the Prophet alayhi salatu. He said, Ya Rasul, it's so beautiful. You should buy it. You can put it on the 2 Eids and also the Jumu'ah, and when you're receiving the delegations. He said, ذلك ثوب لا يلبسه إلا من لا خلاق له. He said, silk is a dress that men who don't have good characters, good manners, are only the one who will put that on. Only the one who put that on. In order, Hadith said, if you wear silk, because in Jannah there's silk dress. If you wear in this dunya, you cannot wear it in Akhirah. That means that you will not be in Jannah, because if you're in Jannah, you have to wear harir. And the same thing applies to, like, you beautify yourself, you make yourself look so good. But one thing can Islamically ruin it. It will not ruin your purpose, but Islamically will ruin it. For example, you dress up and you wear a ring that has gold. It's haram for you, for men. Right? It's haram. Or a watch that has gold is haram. So then, to dress up and mashallah, very good, and to have a nice cologne. You know, I'll tell you a story. In America, there is so many different things. They have, you know, growing up, to be honest with you, I thought every cologne can be used by men and women. This is what I know. That's it. You buy one, you can use it, your wife can use it, everybody can use it, right? But in America, you have to buy something that's specifically for the men and specifically for the women. And of course, there's no between. They try to make us understand or believe there's between. There's nothing called between. It's man or a woman. There's nothing in between. There's nothing in between. All that's horror. All that is just like, it's like playing games. But they know that's wrong. So try, when you buy a clone, try to buy because, you know, you're in a culture. Try to buy the one that is specified for men. And the sister, you buy something specified for the sisters. But the sisters, unfortunately, you have to limit your clone. They have unscented clones when you go to the Eid. That is the sunnah. That is the sunnah. You know, I cannot justify it. Who said it is the Prophet ﷺ. And you can find reasons or justifications. I really don't care about those things. What I care is who said it. The Prophet, that's what I tell you. That's what I tell you. Men, you can. But women, it's just like the silk. Men, you cannot wear it. Women, you can wear it. So it's just a balance. But they will tell you, no, why Islam is saying for the woman? I don't know. Who said it? Islam. What's my responsibility is to tell you what the Prophet ﷺ said. It's a sunnah to walk to the musalla. And we have a brother who will tell you it's a sunnah for you to walk to the musalla. And from Middleton, I will try to walk from Middleton to the musalla. You're missing the sunnah. Because practicing the sunnah, if that is bringing harm to you, it's not sunnah anymore. You have a car, drive it. Then you go to the musalla. It's a sunnah to take a path, going to the Eid Al-Adha, and take a different path when you go. But if you only have the belt line, you don't have another one. Take the belt line going and take the belt line coming, and you have practiced the sunnah. Because it's a sunnah, and the purpose of that is detail. Brothers, it's a sunnah. When we go to the Eid, we raise our voices with the takbir. The takbir. Of course, we're not takbir al-jama'i. It's not what the Prophet ﷺ did and what the Sahaba did. But yes, we should be reminding one another to raise the takbir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لِيُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاهُمْ. So they can raise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's voice. They can say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. They can raise that. Yes, we should raise that. It should not be quiet. It should be raised high and higher. That is a sunnah. And to listen to the khutbah or not to listen to the khutbah. But two different things that we miss. To sit for the khutbah or not to sit for the khutbah is optional. But if you choose to go in the musalla, if you choose to go, you cannot be talking and distracting the one who's giving khutbah and to distract the one who's listening. And this is a mushkila. It's a big mushkila. And everybody knows what mushkila is. It's a big mushkila when that is happening, because you cannot tell thousands of people, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. You will lose your time and you give nothing. So then inshallah we should try to sit. If we cannot, we should go easily. And be patient inshallah ta'ala. To forgive one another. It's a sunnah. To give charity on that day is a sunnah. And I'll tell you, the Prophet ﷺ on Eid Al-Adha, he told his Sahaba to give sadaqah. And he left his place of musalla and he went all the way, because the sisters, they were lying in the back. He went to the sisters, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he talked to them directly. He said, تصدقنا معاشر النساء. Give charity. The sisters, give charity. And one of the Sahaba, he said, I was having my qamis like this, holding it like this, and the sisters, they're throwing their jewelries and everything, and it was full. I will go and put it and come back. And the Prophet keeps saying, تصدقنا معاشر النساء. Yes. And if you want to make fundraising on that day, people will say, brother, why? This is Eid. Whatever we do, we try to connect it with the Sunnah of the Prophet. So expect, the brothers, the fundraising brothers, expect and push it that a fundraising will happen. I'm not saying it, but it might happen. And if it happens, we have a Sunnah for it that the Prophet did. And finally, the Sahaba, which is very common. And one thing that I want to really mention here before I end is it's a day of happiness. It's a day of happiness. Avoid anything. Avoid anything that will ruin that. Avoid it. Yeah, you're going with your wife. Please do not say anything that will be misunderstood, that will make her upset with you. Make sure that you become very sophisticated in what you say on that day, starting from Fajr till the day ends. Okay? Because you can say one thing, they just get upset. And when they get upset, you know what happens? Your day is gone. And the brother also, the sister also, should try their best to make sure that they make the day, because we have seen incidents in the Eid. You are late. You should not be dressing up like this, you should not be. But one thing that you should focus, on, inshallah ta'ala, which is a dhahira, it's a day that Allah chooses for us, and we should appear in front of Allah the best way He wants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have two people, husband and wife, they argued to me. And the husband said, my wife did not wear the hijab and all those things. I said, subhanallah. But I said, brother, I think you are missing something. I said, you only focus on her fault. But you didn't look at you too. Right? The Arab, they say, لسانك, which is لا ينطبق على هذا لكن قريب. لسانك لا تذكر به عورة امرئ لأن لك عورة وللناس ألسن. Right? And I look and I said, and I was kind of like, I felt like, automatically I defend, I don't know if I was wrong or right, I defended the sister. I said, brother, but Allah tells you, the Prophet tells you to grow your beard, and you just had a big battle with your beard, and you cut it off. I wish the sister will tell you, reinstall your beard, and I will reinstall my hijab. Right? And he said, but beard is a sunnah. I said, yeah, it's how it is. How it is. So you have to always use the right way of approaching. Of course, we know that the beard cutting it is haram in Islam. And if you have a second opinion, you can let me know. But it's haram, that's what I know. From the Prophet ﷺ. So yes, if the sister has a shortcoming into certain things, you know that you have a shortcoming in certain things, try to compromise. And when you compromise, that action, initiative may change the whole entire thing, because you're helping one another. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Support and help one another in righteousness and good. And of course, I'm not trying to pick on you brothers who shave their beard, but I'm just saying it because it's right there. So the sisters, inshallah, should try their best to make sure that, even the non-Muslims, when they come to the masjid, the non-Muslims, if we have an open house, some of them will say, do you have a hijab there so I can put on? Imagine, because sacred of the place. They want to give respect to the place. They're not Muslims. So if we have also sisters, inshallah, we encourage them on that day to have their hijab, inshallah ta'ala, on that day, to give respect. Even if you don't wear hijab other days, it's fine. But try your best, inshallah. But that should not be a fight between you and your wife or your sister, okay? Just tell them, and if he's going to flip the whole entire Eid, just be quiet, okay? You have to be smart about it, what you say and how you say it, okay? But this is my message to all of them. Try to give respect to that, and that initiative you took might change your whole entire life, might be a reason for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put the love of the hijab into your heart. And of course, the same message that will be given to the brothers, because it's a sunnah, when the 10 days starts, you don't cut anything from yourself. You don't cut your head, you don't shave your beard, your armpit, anything, you don't touch it. But it's different than Eid Al-Adha and Eid Al-Fitr. So the Eid Al-Adha, try to practice that sunnah also as brothers. You can't just pick on the sisters. We try to practice that sunnah. Don't clip your nails, don't cut your beard. And Abdullah is looking at me because he doesn't have a beard, but it's okay. It's okay. Just make sure you practice it, inshallah ta'ala. So these are some of the sunan of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in the Eid. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with his beautiful names and attributes to let us reach the Eid. And we ask him to make us among the one who will be forgiven. And we ask him to make us among the one that he will free on that day from the hellfire. Allahumma la tad'alna fi maqamina hadha dhanban illa ghafarta, wala hamman illa farajta, wala daynan illa qadayta, ولا مرضا إلا شفيته ولا حاجة من حوائجنا والآخرة إلا يسرت قضاها برحمتك أرحم الراحمين. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على ما يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. قوموا للصلاة رحمكم الله.